Hey, folks, it's Sunday night. Welcome back to that horror movie podcast. We have a special guest, especially for you Halloween fans. I'm joined by our, as it says clearly on your tombstone, our beloved daughter, Judith Myers. So Miss Sandy Johnson is here tonight with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
And I have my friend who was out with my cohort saying, Brett will be late. That's his friend Cody's fault. So he will be joining us shortly. So I was speaking with Sandy before. If you guys have any questions, by all means, throw them in the chat. We're going to hang out, just talk about things, obviously Halloween, making of Halloween, other films you were in. I do have, not that I can show this, but I can show the cover at least. I do have my own copy.
Ooh.
And one of these days I'll have to have you sign it when one of the cons, because I met you. Oh, God, I wanted to say, I forget how many years ago it was. You probably remember the Mahoning Drive-In in Pennsylvania?
I do.
You were there
it was during COVID.
It was during COVID, yeah. You were there and Tom Savini.
Yep.
So I had you
I
sign
do remember.
this.
That was such a cool event.
They always have great little cons at that place, and they always have great, they always run 35 millimeter films there, and they've shown Halloween there a few times. I've yet to make it to one of them, but I'll get there one of these days. But the cons are always nice there.
Yeah, I actually got to go into the projection room when Halloween was running there and look through the little porthole thing and watch my scene from the projection room. It was very cool.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, we can go right into it. Obviously, I want to talk about other things you're doing as well, besides not just Halloween, but I always wonder, I mean, it's just, I'm sure you've been asked the question 100 times over. So how did you get involved in Halloween? I mean, obviously, you were the playmate, and was our casting call? How did your agent get involved in it? I was just always wondered how, you got involved in that. It was just a little question I always wondered. I'm sure you've told it before, but I'm not sure.
Well, I was with the Playboy agency, and they sent me out on modeling as well as acting calls. So I was called out by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill for a casting call, and I interviewed, and they had me scream and just asked me a bunch of questions. And then the next day, or the day after, it wasn't long, I got a call from my agent who said I had been cast as Judith Myers.
It was just that simple. So now, was it a one shoot day that you were there, just one day?
Yes, it was just one day.
Okay, because I know sometimes even if you think of the scene, sometimes I know you've been on. I've never been on a set, but just from knowing enough about it, like one scene could take an entire day. That's why I was just curious if it's stretched into more than one day.
Yeah, it did. It did take all day, and it was the new camera, the Panaglide camera. So that was a new experience for everyone. A lot of things to keep in mind in a small house that had some mirrors. And make sure that everybody was out of sight. But we practiced several times upstairs and downstairs, but the actual filming we did in 2 takes.
Really? Just 2 takes? Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's obviously it's iconic enough as it is. And I've been a little obsessed, as you can tell. If my wife would be here, and my wife would be in the background going, for the past
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Years.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, it's fun. It brings so many people together, this community. Just from you going to cons and meeting people, I'm sure you've met so many great people. And it's a good community because everybody's pleasant, respectful, nice. It's just, it doesn't get crazy. I mean, I'm a little crazy, obviously, because I have this giant room down here, but it does get a little crazy. But I do have to ask, because somebody was asking about this, because it's the big thing about how they were always talking about being on set and picking up leaves. So they said,
right.
So my friend Sam's like, "Hi, Sandy, can you share how long you were on set?" Which you just did. Did you have to pick up leaves and help? Because they're always talking about how it was like this, okay, we're making a movie. Everybody start doing something, picking up and doing stuff.
Right. I did not have to help. I would have if they had asked, but we were actually very busy inside the house while they were outside picking up leaves and getting the shot set up, as well as still working on the inside of the house to make it look lived in, because it was quite dilapidated in the beginning, which is why they shot the later scenes first while it was still a wreck, and then they fixed it up for my scene. So my scene was shot last.
Now, have you ever? I know you appeared at maybe one convention, David Kyle. Never heard from him again after this, or because it would have been a great photo op to have the two of you together at a con.
Yeah, he came to my first con, which was Halloween 40, I believe, in Pasadena. And he said the only reason why he came was to see me again. He doesn't really care for that kind of thing. So he flew down and was next to me, and we had a great visit. But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
he really didn't care for that. I mean, he enjoyed the time together, but he's not into that kind of thing. I guess he's kind of a recluse.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's it. I teach his own. There's nothing wrong with that. Because I was always wondering how. I'd heard he had appeared at a con once, and that was it. I don't know if it was one of the anniversary ones in Pasadena. I've only been to the one. I was at the 45.
Okay.
So looking forward to 50 in another couple of years. So that should be fun. I do have a good friend of mine who's over in Ireland, my buddy Colin, saying
Ooh.
big shout out to Sandy, big shout out to her and Aphrodite, which is one of his pets. And he said, love you, Sandy.
I love you back, and I love Aphrodite.
Let's see.
Give her a hug for me.
And another friend of mine on the West Coast, my friend Lito, rock on. Hello, Sandy, as a lifelong horror fan, whose favorite film is obviously the original 78 classic. It was an honor to meet you at the 35th anniversary con and to interact with you tonight. Very cool.
Say that one more time. You broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. My microphone, it has a mind of its own sometimes. My friend Leo was just basically saying it was an honor to meet you at the 35th anniversary con and to interact with you tonight, that you're here hanging out with us.
Nice. Well, I'm glad we got to meet, and thank you for joining us.
And my friend Daniel's got a question. Some folks say there's no blood on Halloween, but there was blood on you, Sandy. It looks like it when you're on the floor.
Correct. Yeah, there is not a lot of blood in Halloween, but yes, there was definitely blood on me.
Yes, because you do see that, among other things, obviously. I mean, come on, hey. Be professional, but you do see that. Yeah, you do see that bit of blood, though. That is true. That's probably the only blood. I think that's the only blood you see in the whole film. Maybe when Laurie gets cut on her arm, that's about it. But other than that, it didn't.
Right. It takes real talent, I think, to scare people without a lot of gore. That's why psychological thrillers are my favorite.
And my friend Jordan says, being Michael Myers' first kill is a flex that I'm sure Sandy never realized was going to be so massive for people like me and many more of us. I can only imagine, I'm sure.
That's absolutely true. I had no idea. In fact, I was out of the industry for so long doing other things, getting education, teaching, just all kinds of stuff, that when my agent did get a hold of me and asked me if he could be my agent and if I'd be interested in doing horror cons, I'd never even heard of such a thing. And I had no idea that people around the world would come to see me. So it was pretty eye-opening.
What were you teaching, if you don't mind me asking? Because I can only imagine be like, okay, I went to school today and my teacher was Judith Myers. How does that happen?
I taught science to children with learning differences, middle school.
Oh, nice. Wow, that would have been, did anybody even bring it up or question the fact? Did anybody recognize you?
I'll tell you what's funny. No, they didn't. And I never talked about it with anybody because I worked at a private school and I loved my job and I did not want to take a chance on losing it. Mm-hmm. So I did not tell anybody. But about a month ago, one of my former students found me on Facebook and said, I can't believe that my favorite science teacher was also in my favorite movie.
Oh, that's great. I could only imagine that. That would have been, I would have been over the moon. I would have been getting up for school. I'm like, all right, Ma, let's go. We're going to school today. My friend Dean says Halloween has been his lifelong favorite movie, favorite horror film. Delighted to have you here tonight, Sandy.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
So so I saw you're working on some stuff now too. I did see your post today. I think I'll bring it up real quick. I wrote down some stuff so I don't forget how you're doing almost like a membership thing with some the Playboy photos.
Yeah, I have a collection of about 28, 29 photos that are high resolution of nudes that I did either for Playboy or other magazines and jobs, back in the day. And some of them are really nice. I really like them. The photographers in the 60s and 70s, I don't know, they just had a whole different feel to nudes. Very classic and I don't know, just lovely photographers. And so I decided to do a private site that goes off of my website, which is unicornsandyj.com.
Which,
and
folks, I put all your links in this video, so anybody needs them, just click on them right there, folks.
Cool. And it actually just went live today, and it's only $50 one-time fee, and it gives you access to the 28 photos, high resolution. You won't see them anywhere else. And then if you want to buy one, I think it's like $75 for a high resolution photo autographed, and I'll mail it to you.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm real happy about it. I've had people ask me a long time, how do they get the nudes and different things. So I just decided to do just a website just for that, adults only. And then I don't have to carry them with me to cons and worry about children and stuff. So
I will say this. I searched for this, your Playboy one. I've had years. Anytime I was at, because I obviously go to conventions or even collectible shows or antique shops, and anytime I saw a collection of Playboys that were for sale, I'm like, trying to find it. Like, damn. And I finally found it probably right after I met you. I was like, ugh. So next time.
Right. Well, you can mail it to me through my website. There's a place to click on for mail-ins, and Playboy is one of the ones you can mail in.
Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Sam's got a question too. Did you meet Hugh Hefner or any stories of the Playboy Mansion?
Yes, I met Hef many times. There were regular parties for the Playmates. So you could go and bring your girlfriends, and you could swim and have whatever you wanted to eat or drink. And there was a spa, and there was a zoo and volleyball. It was an amazing place.
I tried to see it because when I was out there for age 45, my wife and I went out a week early and just tried to see some sites because we'd never been to California before. So we're driving around, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go find where the Playboy Mansion is. But it's so, you can't even see it from the street, obviously.
No, you can't.
I didn't know that. I'm like, there's like this big wall and bushes, and I'm like, well, there's the gate. That's about all we're gonna see, I guess. I mean, obviously not the Playboy Mansion any longer, but it's still cool to be like, wow, all the people that must have been on this block at one point.
Yeah, it was quite a place, truly. Lots of fun and just gorgeous in so many ways, and a real treat to go up and just have whatever you wanted, basically, for no charge.
Wow. How did you get involved in Playboy? Because I believe you said you were originally from Texas, so obviously that's either California or Chicago at the time. How did you get involved?
I lived in California for about 20 years. My parents moved out there when I was elementary school, I think. And my dad got very sick with cancer. And he wanted a treatment that was only available in Mexico, and he did not have the money for it. So a friend of mine said, well, why don't you try out for Playboy? They pay pretty well. So I did, and they decided to use me, and so I was able to get the treatment for my dad. Unfortunately, it didn't help, but we did our best. But that's how I got into Playboy, was just to try to get the money for him.
Oh, wow. Because I was wondering how you always want to know how somebody says, okay, you know what, I'd love to get into Playboy, but, how do you go about, well, it makes sense. I mean, did you put that down when you were trying out that they picked you?
Did I do what?
Did you mention that you were trying to raise the money, to help your father?
I don't remember. It's a long time ago. I might have, but it seems like the application was just, you took some photos of yourself, you just wrote up a little thing, about yourself and stuff, and mailed it in. I don't remember really having a place to put anything like that at the time.
Have you interacted at all with anybody over the years? Do they have like any type of reunions or anything, related to that?
They did when Hefner was alive. They had one every year, I think. But I was in Texas, not long after that, I moved back to Texas after I lost my dad and then my mother. I just wanted to come back to my family, the rest of my family that was in Texas. So I really wasn't there for any of them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was just curious because I know you obviously a Playmate, and then because it always seems like they always had things like where they involved like the Playmates and a lot more stuff. So and I know they had like anniversary celebrations and stuff like that. So I was just curious because I don't really follow all that, but I was just curious if they did or not.
Right. I did some of the anniversaries each year at the mansion until I moved away.
Yeah, I guess it would make it a lot easier while you're still there.
Yeah.
Colin says, great idea for the Playboy photos. The aesthetic of those photos back then were beautiful. Yeah, but photos back then were just a lot classier.
Yeah, I agree.
A friend of mine, Joe, he says, hey, everyone, what a pleasure to see and hear stories from Miss Sandy. Sandy, you look beautiful, and such a fan she is.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, so there was one question here that I didn't want to miss because I know I was going to ask this as well. I think this was Colin. Yep. When was the first time you saw Halloween in the theater? Was there any kind of opening premiere for the cast? So I think they did send out. I remember seeing on a few documentaries that they did have a screening for the cast.
They did. They had it was not a huge event. It was just at a smaller theater somewhere, I think. I remember being there and seeing it with the cast. And I remember that it terrified me because, they keep scripts, secret. So a lot of times you only know your part. So I only knew the opening scene for Halloween. I did not know that Michael grew up to be a serial killer or all the other stuff that was going to happen. So when I went to the movie, it just took me by surprise. It was crazy scary, but also a lot of fun.
That had to be crazy to see. Okay, I'm at the very beginning of the movie, then you see the rest of it. Wow. I mean, because I became a fan back in 1980 when I first saw it on HBO, and it stuck with me forever. And I never knew all these years later that I'd be, doing a podcast about horror films and having this collection I've been collecting for excess of 30 some odd years. Once the internet really became, mainstay for everybody, that I'm like, wow, there's people out there just as crazy as me. Wow. Who would have thought? Somebody in my family thought it was just me. I said, no, there's people out there crazier than I am.
True.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody's questions. So, do you have any cons booked coming up?
Not yet. Usually, because of the movie I was in, they tend to book me closer to the end of the year. So as it gets closer to October, usually I go a lot. I wish they were spread out more. That would be kind of nice, actually. But they get real squished together the closer we get to October. But I have been super busy making films. So when they start, they're all indies, so it takes a while, but I've got a lot of them that are finished and in production. So I'm hoping that some of them will be out within the next few months.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Just everybody, like I said, I have all of Sandy's links here. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, and her website's there as well. So make sure you keep an eye on it, because I was looking to see when you were going to be in this neck of the woods. But like you said, it would make sense probably closer to, the end of the year when it starts to turn into that fall season that everybody gets. I mean, it's Halloween here every day. So
yes.
It's fun for me.
Usually in the next couple months, I'll start hearing about bookings for later in the year.
So when were you discovered and started? I know, like you said, you were teaching. What made you start getting into the cons and embracing the Halloween universe, so to speak? Because you said you were teaching all those years. Yeah,
it was kind of interesting. I was no longer teaching. I was actually a director of education at a wildlife center. And every night, even still today, after all these years, I play Words with Friends with my best friend in Georgia. So we were playing Words with Friends, and this text just kind of popped up on my screen, and it said, are you the Sandy Johnson that was in Halloween? And this was just so random for me. I hadn't thought about that in years. And I answered back, yes. And who might this be? And he said, my name is Rick Enrique. I am a con agent. I do horror cons, and I have been looking for you for 8 years, and I would absolutely love to represent you. So that's kind of what happened. We had some conversations, and I thought, you know what? That sounds like fun. I'll give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
And I had such a wonderful time that when he asked me, you know, what do you think? Do you want to do it again? I said, hell yeah. So I've been doing them for, I don't know, what is it? 8 or 9 years now, I guess. And I absolutely love the horror community. So the more I can do, the happier I am.
Joey wants to know, so are you a fan of horror movies, which I think you did say you were? If so, what is your favorite? I think we'll have to exclude Halloween, even though you're in it, but out of curiosity.
Right. You know, it's really hard for me to pick a favorite because I have several favorites. I love The Shining, love Jack Nicholson. I love Psycho,
Mm-hmm.
and I love Scream. So those are probably my favorites.
My buddy Colin wants to know, because he was saying he'd love to meet you. When are you going to be back in the UK or over in Ireland? Because he's in Ireland for a con. He was meant to go to England the year that you were in Manchester, I guess, for the love of horror, but he couldn't make it at the time.
Oh, you know what? I'd go back in a heartbeat. I love the UK. We did some traveling while we were there, and then I went back a couple years, I guess 2 years ago, I went to Germany for a con, and then I flew to UK for a premiere of a film I was in called Pareidolia, and we got to sightsee a little bit more. So if they invite me, I'm going to go. And Ireland, I would love to go to Ireland. It was actually my dad's favorite country from when he was in the military. He always talked about it. So if they ever invite me, I'm going.
There you go. Jeff says Sandy was here in Niagara for Frightmare in the Falls a few years back. He said his dad's only convention he was attending. We got an autograph from Sandy for his mom. He said, you were so fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
Aw, thank you for coming. That was such a wonderful convention. Oh my gosh. From our hotel room, it was right over the falls. It was all lit up. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I had no idea that I was going to have a room with such a prime location. I opened the blinds and went, oh my God, it's right there. Looking down into it, it was fabulous. So thank you for coming. It was a great convention.
I have to make it up there. I think this summer, my wife and I are going to go. We've been talking about going forever, and I wanted to go because that's when my parents spent their anniversary, because it seemed like back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, everybody on this in the area I grew up in, that was the place you went to, Niagara Falls, for your honeymoon.
Oh, and absolutely from the Canadian side, no comparison.
Yeah, I got to get up there. I know we're supposed to go up there camping, and I think we're going to sneak up there because I said one of these days we got to go.
Yeah, you really do. You won't regret it. It's absolutely magnificent.
My buddy Stay Tuned Folks says, hey, Sandy, what's your favorite non-horror movie? And that's from Joshua.
One of my favorite sleeper films was called Dragonfly. I think it was Kevin Costner. Great film. I don't know that it ever got very famous, but it is so cool and so worth watching. The others, Fried Green Tomatoes is a favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, there's so many films. I can't even think of them all, but those are two of my favorites.
There you go. So did you act in school before you even got into acting? Because obviously you were in Playboy first. Or no, you had some credits before that, didn't you?
I did a lot of commercials and clothes modeling and runway modeling. As for your first question, yes, I did take acting in school. Mm-hmm. I started in middle school and took I took dance production and drama and play production, improvisation. When I got out of school, I continued to take college courses and courses at the studios. So yeah, I always loved acting and dancing.
Yeah, I never got involved. I love my movies, but I'm a guitar player, so I'm like, I'll just stay here and play my guitar because I have 2 left feet. Nobody wants to see me do that. Yeah, all my friends are like, oh, you play guitar, you should just get more involved in like acting or whatever. I said, no, I'll just stay here behind my guitar and hide. That's fine. Here we go. Joey was asking, Sandy, when you're at cons, do you ever get starstruck by anyone? Are there any celebrities you'd like to meet?
There are ones I'd like that I have met. I'm trying to think, is it John Patrick? That doesn't sound right.
Jason Patrick?
No. Oh, God, I'm so terrible with names. He was in Scorpion and so many other films. So Scorpion was my favorite one that he was in. Maybe it is John Patrick. Anyway, he was one that I absolutely made sure that when he was at the same convention with me, that I took the time to go meet him. I love Deborah Voorhees. I went and introduced myself to her and we became friends. Let's see, anybody else? Of course, the other Halloween people, James Jude Courtney and Nick Castle, are amazing people that I absolutely love. So yeah, I could be starstruck with them because they're so cool.
I did see a picture you posted with Carpenter. So how was that, seeing Carpenter after all these years? And
it was amazing. It was crazy. We were the only 2 people in the room because, his lines are crazy long. So I was in there and he was in there. And then there was nobody else from Halloween at that convention. So it was just him and I for the panel. So I thought, oh my God, this is so intimidating. Just him and I up there, nobody else. And I thought, oh my God, nobody's going to ask me a single question. But he was amazing. He was so kind. And he would refer questions to me and say, well, what do you think about that, Sandy? So he was really nice about making me feel comfortable in what could have been a really awkward panel.
I finally got to meet him after all these years. I met him back in October when he was playing because he did a little mini tour where he was playing with his group. So I did get to meet him then, which was many years in the making. So, and he was very nice. Everybody always says, I could be a little bit of a curmudgeon. I said, yeah, I think a lot of his show. I think he's probably a teddy bear, but he just puts that. He puts that there because most people like yourself, I say, oh no, when you talk to him on the side, he's very, very nice.
Yeah, he was very nice. I enjoyed talking to him.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. From Eric, Sandy, if you could have appeared in any other John Carpenter movie, which one would you have been in? And he said he met you in 2023, and he said you were very sweet.
Cool. I really liked The Fog. It would have been fun to be in The Fog. The scene that I did for Paradolia, I was a late night DJ, and it reminded me a lot of The Fog. I would also have liked to have been in 2018 as the granddaughter.
That would have been great. I was wondering, that would have been great to have you in there as a cameo. I mean, you are the first kill. It would have been great to bring it full circle, even if any of the 3, because you figure they brought a lot of people back for kills. I mean, they brought Cyphers back. I mean, they did. I was wondering about that. I didn't even think of that if they had approached you, but obviously they didn't, because I'm sure you would have. But that would have been great, because even if you were killed, it didn't make a difference. You could just play a different part, like you said, or some type of relative of Judith, like you said. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. PJ has done several things, even though she had died. I don't know. I tried, and my agent reached out, but they didn't want to.
Yeah, because I think they put too many in one movie. I think we knew they were going to do 3 movies. They could have just spread it out evenly a little bit more. That would have been great.
Right.
Like, especially ends. I mean, if that's the bookend of that timeline, why not have the first kill have Judith appear there, and obviously not be Judith because she's dead. But still,
Right.
just to see would have been a great Easter egg. Because anybody that's a Halloween fan would be like, oh, it's her.
Right.
No, that would have
At
been
least
great.
they did do the flashback scene in 2018, which they would not have been able to do if my agent hadn't found me, because they had to have my okay to do that.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Yeah. So I have to ask, just because, like I said, I'm a Halloween fanatic. How has it been all these years? Because I always see you post pictures with your husband, which is awesome. How does he feel? How is he like with this? You being, Judith Myers from Halloween.
Well, he was
He
never
dresses
much
up
of
a lot, which is great. He does dress up a lot, and I
yes.
love that.
He was never much of a horror fan, so he kind of had to get used to me because I do like horror movies. So now he watches them with me and he likes them. He loves the conventions. He loves to go with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also been in some of the films with me recently. I asked them to let him be an extra. So he's been in about 4 of my films now as an extra.
That's great. So I'm just like, well, now, you were married before Halloween or after Halloween? Because I was just wondering, like, if he knew who you were.
We married 40 years ago. So
Okay,
it
so it was
was after Halloween, yes.
And he had no idea that that's who you were.
He did not. He did not know that that's who I was, or that I had been in Playboy. That's not the kind of stuff I told people until they knew me better. So he had some surprises coming.
I bet. I was going to say that. That's great that he, because I would have been like, wait, you're what? Wait a second.
Yeah, we
that's
dated a couple months before I let him know.
And that's great. So, folks, if you don't follow Sandy's Instagram, even Facebook, just go, because her husband does dress up like Michael, and you guys always do little scenes and everything. So it is really, really, it's a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. I kind of figured he embraced it because he wouldn't be dressing up otherwise.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
I'm just making sure I'm not missing anybody's questions here, folks. If you want, throw them in there. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything from anybody. So the movies that you have coming out, when are they going to start being released? Are they on your website? Release dates?
Yes. I think I may have to go back and check and make sure I've got the last couple, because I've been doing them like one right after the other. I finally got a break, but I think that probably the next one's out will be The Executioner, and probably maybe Black Sheep. We just finished up The Hive, and they're still shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Doll of Deceit, they've released the trailer on it, so I'm assuming it'll be soon.
Now, are they horror films or different type
All
of genre?
horror films, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think there's going to be some really good ones in there.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. It's going to be great. I'll be like, look, she's back. Here we go.
Yeah, I've been having a ball. The other one, the Soldier's Descent, is it's a really interesting film. Most of the people in it are legitimate soldiers or investigative teams. Not that many actors as
Mm-hmm.
far as people who aren't in the military. And it's about PTSD. And so it is a horror film because he does lose it. But it's also just a story about all the terrible things that it can cause and what it does to people, or can do to people and the people around them. So it's a serious story in addition to a horror movie. And the people that did it took it very seriously in producing it, to making it very realistic. So it's, I think it's going to be quite good.
The Dean says, great news. Where can we watch these movies? Are they going to be theatrical? Are they going to be streaming?
I think they're hoping for A Soldier's Descent to be in the big screen. The others, I think most of them will be streaming. It's hard to know until they get to that point and tell me.
Mhm.
what their deal is. The other one, Occult Canvas. That one I think will be out in the next few months too. That one's an interesting horror film, kind of a psychological thing. It's cool. But yeah, I'm excited about all of them actually. And there are many more listed on my website and IMDb. So it's been quite a journey.
Did you think that after all these years you'd be this busy?
I had no idea when I retired from teaching and then I became the director of education. I just assumed that my life would slow down then. Boy, was I wrong.
Little did you know.
Yeah, I'm crazy busy. So like I said, I finally got a little break where I don't actually have a script that I'm having to memorize now, or 2 or 3 to memorize. So it's kind of nice to have a break, but I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, it's nice to get a little bit of break. Well, you're definitely in warmer weather, so
Yes.
Just this time of year by me is like the doldrums because it's usually cold. I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania, so it just snowed again today, and it's just like, ugh.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Texas weather. It's been chilly the last few days in 40s, I guess, and then 50. Today was actually beautiful. But we had like 2 weeks of 70s and 80s. So it was crazy weather. And I guess that's what I like about it. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, here I know what we're going to get this time of year. It's going to be cold. It's going to be windy. It's going to be snowy. And it's just, yeah, it's like there's that point from after New Year's to like Easter that is just miserable because it's always cold and you just want to be inside. And so it's a great place to just be doing stuff like this and hanging out, chatting with people. And it's great because now you can, with this, to talk to anybody. It's just great that we can.
Yeah, it's true.
It's amazing. Who would have thought, when you were doing this 40 years, 45 years ago, 50 years ago, I never in a million years thought I'd be doing this at this age. Here we go. Here's a good friend of mine, my friend Joe. Hi, Sandy. Did you keep anything from the set of Halloween?
Oh boy, I wish I had known to do that.
Yeah, right. Ooh,
I know
exactly.
now.
You still have the script? Did you have a full script or
No.
did you have lines?
No, I don't. I have nothing from it. But now I do try and get things from the sets. I ask for that from the beginning.
Yeah, nobody knew back then until many, many years later, till all of a sudden these concepts start popping up and people are buying original props and stuff from the films. But you didn't have a full script at the time to read?
No. Mm-mm.
No, because I guess
No.
since there was a few lines, they probably figured you were doing more acting than speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want you to have the full script. A lot of everybody signs no, disclosure agreements and stuff
Right.
now. But they were very protective of scripts.
And Colin says, "Oh, it's great to see you getting a second life in the movies at this stage in your journey." He said it's amazing, and he's so happy for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it is amazing. I never dreamed. I had to cut my career short the first time. I did Hots, I did Gas Pump Girls, I did jokes my folks never told me, and I loved those films. I had a blast doing them. But then when I lost both my parents really close together,
Mhm.
and it just I was very close to both of them, and it tore me up, no doubt about it. So I just left everything, moved back to Texas, and just started a new life, not knowing that like 50 years later,
This would be.
I would get another shot at it. So it is very cool, and I'm very happy for the opportunities that have been coming my way.
Had they passed before Halloween? Because I was just curious if they saw Halloween.
Yeah, they passed. Gosh, I can remember the year.
So they didn't get even a chance to see it, which is that would have been.
Yeah,
something.
it was definitely before Halloween, but it was right in that time period. I had already done Playboy, of course, because I did that for my dad.
Right.
But I think he had already passed before I did any films. And my mom, yeah, I don't think she got to see them either.
No, that's terrible. I mean, because the movie, you know how it started out, started a little bit slower, then it just exploded. And how was it? How did you feel during that time? Because when you saw it, because it started out very slow and then eventually just became this bigger thing. And how could you have possibly kept quiet all this time about it? Because if I was in Halloween, I'd be walking around with a shirt and saying, "Hey, that's me." I get it for your job, I guess, being in education and teacher and everything, but still, I don't know, man. I would have to be biting my tongue. I'd be walking around with a shirt and a sign.
Well, I knew that people, especially then, lost their jobs over nudity and, anything like that. And like I
Right.
said, I had a job that was like my dream job. I loved teaching children with learning differences. I mean, it was all hands-on science. The kids loved it. I loved it. It was just like the perfect place for me. So it wasn't worth it to me to take a chance. So I just clammed up. I told nobody. I didn't tell my friends in Texas. So only my friends from California knew.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only the last couple of years that I've actually shared it with some of my friends in Texas.
Wow. I don't know how I keep it. I don't know how I keep that under wraps. I'd be like, because especially now, it's had such ever since 2018, the resurgence of the franchise. It was big, obviously, in the late 80s and the 90s. They had all the different various installments that came out, which I loved, of course. But then 2018, it just seemed like exploded, and every Halloween fanatic came out of the woodwork.
Right.
And that was it's the highest grossing horror film ever. 2018. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I really did like 2018. I didn't care that much for the others, but there were a lot of things in 2018 that I liked.
That was the best of the three. Yeah. The thing I see, that would have been great if somehow, some way you could have been part of that flashback scene. Because when they took us back in part 2 to 78, I was in the theater like this. Yes, stay here. Stay in the original. Don't go back there.
Right.
Oh, what was this? Sandy, did you ever meet Susan Backline, Jaws' first kill, or any other first victims? Oh, I think that's how I pronounce it.
I did. Yes, I met her. I've been about 5 years ago. I met her at a convention in Vegas. She was right next to us with her shark thing that they would pose in front of, and we had a lot of fun with that.
Did she pass?
She did.
Yes.
She was very sweet.
Oh, Joey says, sorry if you get this asked all these questions all the time. Have you seen all the Halloween installments? If so, aside from the original, which others do you like? Which obviously 2018 you do. Do you like any of the other ones? You've obviously seen them all, I would assume.
Yeah, I liked the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked Season of the Witch. Obviously not Halloween theme, but I thought it was a very creative movie.
Mm-hmm.
With the mask and everything. I just thought it was very cool. 2018 and the second one and the first one, I think, are the three that I really like.
I'll be right there with you. Halloween 4 gets a lot of love because it brought everything back, and it's once Mustafa said, all right, the hands off, let's do this the right way, and they sort of brought it back. But I agree with you. Some of them, I'm a big Halloween fan. Some of them are kind of stinkers. So it is what it is. Andy asks, I have a question. Have you ever met any of the cast from Return of the Living Dead or the original Night of the Living Dead? I'm sure you've been at cons with them, I would bet.
I'm usually really busy at conventions. I don't have a lot of time to go around and visit people. I might have met them, but I don't remember. So I'm not sure.
Teal Kid says, the legendary Judith Myers is in the building. Yes, she is. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of your other films. I know the only one I have not seen, I was trying to find it, Gas Pump Girls. I think I got to find it. I think I rented on Amazon. Hots, I remember seeing that movie a million times because it used to be on Cinemax all the time back in the early 80s. And I do remember that was you. I remember sitting there saying, I'm like, me and my brother were watching it, like, so we're like, then we saw the credits. I'm like, is that Judith Myers?
Gas Pump Girls, I love Hot Sir. I have some fun scenes in that. But Gas Pump Girls is probably my favorite movie outside of Halloween because it was so much fun to make. All of the girls were fun. All the guys were fun and funny. Everybody behind the camera was fun. I mean, we just had a blast making it. Everything was fun. And so it's not always that way on set. So that was still when you could do things and now you can't do, but back when you could do those things, it was a ton of fun. And I have a lot of fans that love Gas Pump Girls. So if you get a chance, if you can find it, I think it's worth it. And sometimes they sell the knockoffs of it, video and stuff. I've seen those, but yeah, I think it's worth watching.
Yeah, Hots I remember well. That was somebody else was in Hots too. That was in, who was the girl? She was in another film. What was one of the main girls? Wasn't she in a Friday the 13th movie? One of them.
Whatchamacallit, Kirsten Baker was in Gas Pump Girls as the main character. And she was in Friday the 13th, I think. 2 maybe? Or...
Yeah, I thought that was one of them. I haven't seen, like I said, I remember looking it up. I have to find that, and I think I can rent it or buy it on Amazon, which I have to do that. But Hots, it was funny. I watched it probably about a year ago. It popped up because I always use that Pluto app because they've streamed movies and you can just watch them for free. They have commercials, but whatever. And Hots came on one night, and I was like, oh man, I haven't seen it in so long. And then I'm like, oh, there she is.
There's several playmates between the two films, I think. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. It's one of the problems that happens when you get old. You can't remember crap.
I'm right there. I'll be 54 in 3 weeks, and my wife keeps telling me you're forgetting everything. She's like, you remember everything you need to know about Halloween, or anything that you have in this room, or anything about. I'm a big Kiss fan, the rock group Kiss. She's like, what did I tell you yesterday? I'm like,
right. I'm terrible with names, and I really hate it. I do not forget faces. And I know when I met people before, I mean, people would come up at my table and stuff, and it might have been a few years, and I remember right away that we've met before. But names,
I'm right there too. Oh, here's my partner in crime who is not. It looks like he's not making it. Very sorry, I'm still on the road. I know you have no interest in seeing the Rob Zombie Halloween films, but why? But have you met Hannah Hall, who played Judith in the remake?
I have not met her. I don't think she's been at the same convention, at any of the same conventions that I've been at. Yeah, Rob Zombie is way too gory for me.
They were amped up. Yep.
Yeah, I like psychological thrillers. I don't necessarily need a lot of gore.
Yeah, if it's advertised and it's meant to be a gore, but I mean, obviously we love Halloween because even the first Friday the 13th, because we love it because it doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be that gory. I mean, when you watch the Terrifier films, because I'm sure you're familiar with the Terrifier films, you know what you're walking into. It's going to be a bloodbath. So you're waiting for that, and that's what it's built on. But I totally get it.
Right. I'm not sure I'll see another one. I saw the first one, and I think the second one was the one that Felissa Rose was in, and she's a friend. So I watched that because she was in it. And I think I'm done.
Yeah, my daughter, because she knows I'm a big horror fan, so her and her friends try to watch horror films. And they put the first one on, and she's like, Dad, have you seen the Terrifier movie? I said, yeah, why did you watch it? She's like, well, when the girl was upside down and they were about to saw her in half, we turned it off. I said, be glad you did.
Good choice.
Yeah, be glad you did. And he has 2 names that he has to ask if you ever met the late, great Tony Todd or Julian Sands.
I did meet Tony Todd, yes. And who was the other one?
Julian Sands.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Tony Todd. Yeah, that's one that escaped me. I would have liked to have met. And obviously since he passed away from cancer, but always heard
Yeah.
very good things about him being very, nice to everybody he meets. I mean, which most people are. I've never. You do hear some horror stories about some people, and I'm sure you've heard them too about meeting certain people at cons. But truthfully, I've met many people like yourself in the Halloween franchise, and I don't think there's ever been an unpleasant experience ever. Everybody's so nice, like yourself, and just happy to be there.
Yep. Absolutely.
My friend Jordan, who was in this Halloween room several months ago, so Pat knows where every single item in his Halloween room is and would know if anything was missing. We can't remember his kids' birthdays. Well, actually, no, my daughter's birthday was yesterday, so I did remember. I almost forgot. That's why I haven't tattooed on my arms, so I don't forget. So that's why after the second kid, I go, well, we're done. I only have 2 arms.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah, so everybody have a couple more questions? It's been about an hour. I don't want to keep you too long because I'm sure you're busy, and it's nearing 8 o'clock on your time. So if you guys have a question, throw it in there quickly because then we're going to get going. Sandy seems to like subtle horror. Rob doesn't know the meaning of the word subtle. Yeah, to say the least. Rob Zombie. Yeah, just if you watch his other films. I mean, I do like most of his films. I liked that he did certain things different, so it wasn't like a shot-for-shot remake. Obviously
Right.
the beginning is a little bit of a bitter pill to swallow with that family the way it was, but the rest of it was all right. I never really had too much of a problem with it.
Right. There's just so many horror films, and I only have so many years to live, so I just have to pick and choose.
Well, I hope there's many, many more. I say the same thing all the time. I'm like, there's only so much time that I have to fit everything in. And this work thing seems to get in the way all the time. That's what I tell the guys at work with. I'm like, this work thing's just in my way.
Right.
I should be home doing other things I want to do. And what was this? How many people played the part of Michael, and who was Michael when he was a young kid? I don't know if you're gonna know all that. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
there's a bunch of Michaels, but Will Sandon was the young Michael.
yeah, that was the young one. So when you were getting stabbed, that was actually who? Was that Deborah Hill?
That was Deborah Hill, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was always funny when you saw the hand. I'm like, wow, Michael's got really small hands. Yeah, they always look very dainty.
Yeah,
Like
not
that.
something for a 6-year-old to be doing.
Well, that's the whole thing. When you first see that film, and obviously you didn't know because you kept in the dark, so it must have been fantastic to watch. You're seeing it and see, okay, this is where it went, and you probably never expected it to go in that direction.
No, I didn't.
When I first saw it, I remember seeing it and seeing, obviously, from the point of view of the killer, and you're like, all right, who's this person killing? You just assume it's an adult. Somebody was breaking in and killing him. And then you see this little kid, I'm like, and that was like me at that age when I saw it. I'm like, oh. So I remember like look at my brother like, see, you better be nice to me.
That's
My brother's,
right.
my brother's 6 years older than me. I'm like, see? And Deborah also played little Mikey. Yeah, because you only really see Will, at that one, the unmasking, I
Out
should
of
say.
the road, right.
And I'm
Yeah,
sure you've met him several times too.
I have. He is such a nice guy. He's actually a CHIP officer in LA.
I would say because I've met him and I've seen him several times, and he looks like he's very fit, and like, God bless him. He doesn't look his age. I mean, not that he's old by no means, but he doesn't look like, because you figure he's probably around my age, and I'm like, I look old. You don't look old.
Yeah, he's super nice. I always enjoy it. He sits next to me for obvious reasons, so it's always fun when he's going to be there.
Yeah. So, oh wait, George says, Sandy, you're planning on being at the Age 50 convention. Probably half the people in the chat will likely be there. I can imagine. I know I'll be there. I already started my savings fund, not just to get out there, but all the crap I'm gonna have to buy to add to this.
Yes, I think I will be there.
Can you believe it? So it's now it's 2026. So can you believe in 2 years it'll be 50 years? Does it seem like it?
Wow. It's really hard to believe. It's such a long time, but it's just, no matter where I go around the world, everybody still loves it, that's in the horror community. And that's just so cool.
Yeah, and every time I see you, you're always smiling. You have a beautiful smile, and you're so happy. I love the fact that that you're around and you're doing this. You know, like I said, like David Kyle had no interest, but at least you embrace it and you have interest, and it's great seeing you. And it's great. I can't wait to see you in these films. It's going to be great.
Thank you. Yeah, I've done various roles. I've been very lucky. I haven't been typecast. I've been all kinds of people.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to be typecast. I get that's, but it's going to be great, especially when you say you're playing a DJ. I'm intrigued now because, like I said, I'm a big fan. Next to Halloween, that's my favorite Carpenter film, The Fog.
Yeah, I did. That one was obviously it was a late night DJ, so it's voice only. But I've been a bartender, a grandmother, a mother-in-law, a psychiatrist. I mean, I've done all kinds of things.
Oh, here's a good one. Sandy, do you have an autobiography? Did you ever think about actually writing something?
I have not, but I have thought about it. There's a lot of things growing up and throughout my life that are probably of interest.
Well, believe me, I always tell people there's even like even with Malik Akkad about have all these extra photos they have that they've never released, or some of the scenes that landed on the cutting room floor that somebody owns from the original Halloween. Right. They don't do anything. It's like, well, you know what? The 50th anniversary is in 2 years. If you printed up a bunch of stuff and sold it at that event, clean up. So in 2 years, if you have an autobiography there, you're gonna have a long line of people there buying it and having you sign it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
There's enough time to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an interesting childhood.
Well, hopefully
long
it was
before
good,
Halloween.
not bad. Hopefully it was good. So I'm not sure.
Parts of it were good.
Oh, so see? Yeah, and it probably would write itself. And then you have that available at age 50. I told everybody, so I tell everybody from a marketing standpoint at the 50th, that's the time to do it, because that is going to be the big one. So if anybody's got anything
that's
like
a
that,
good idea. I'll think about that.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I can guarantee everybody here in the chat would be lining up to buy it.
Cool.
But yeah, let me see if there's any other questions. I'll let you go. I appreciate this, and I'm so looking forward to these films coming out. And I think tonight I'm gonna have to look up for guests.
And everybody go, if you're a Playboy fan, be sure and check out the private gallery on my website.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, folks. Make sure I have all the links down below.
Classic photos in there.
Yeah, I have all the links below, and I'm just scrolling to make sure I didn't miss any. Look at he's got a question. Where's your question? Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think I got everybody. If not, throw it in there real quick. We'll say, good friend Leanna says, thank you, Sandy. You were so gracious and kind. Absolutely. Thanks so much for doing this. Everybody had a blast. Thanks so much.
Cool.
That's why, like I said, some people tend to do recordings. I figure this is better because instead of just listening to me ask you questions, I figure a lot of people would love to just chat with you. And some people, like you said, Colin's over in Ireland. And if he never gets a chance to meet you, at least he got the chance to ask you a question.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I like them live too because I enjoy the fans. That's why I love conventions so much.
Yeah, and everybody keep an eye out, because if you're not doing anything between now and the fall, make sure obviously check out the movies that she's going to be in. Check out our website, and maybe we'll all be surprised in 2 years when I go to at the 50th, and you'll be like, "Look, I wrote that book."
There you go.
You got the time to do it now. All right, so if you can, just hang on for a moment. We'll say a quick goodbye after. Everybody, thanks so much for joining in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and make sure you go hit Sandy's links that are in the description of the video.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to hit our goodbye, and we'll say our goodbyes afterwards. And thanks again, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.